सोनी जी प्लीज स्टार्ट।
अब शुरुआत कीजिए, उसके बाद उनको कराइए। दीपक जी पहले आप बताइए उसको।
Good evening everyone. I am Deepak Kumar Vishwakarma, STLC Kailas Rai Saraswati Vidya Mandir, and today we organize the in-house training program. And I would like to call Mrs. Soni Kumari ji, please introduce our today resource person.
A very good evening to all of you, and welcome to all participants. I first really thank you to our honorable principal sir, vice principal sir, and also our respected SNTC and our respected technical group. Today's topic is 21st century skills. This 21st century skills is elaborated by Mr. Uma Shankar, a very well known in chemistry subject. He is very responsible person for a school also. He is known for very well work for our schools. Now, Uma Shankar sir, can you explain about the 21st century? Excited to know about the 21st century skills.
Thank you, Didi ji, for this opportunity. We live in a competitive world where books and syllabus can never give us or provide us with overall development of our students. Here we need to provide them with not only bookish knowledge, but also with how to deal with 21st century academic and co-curricular activities. Today's topics of discussion is education for the 21st century. In today's session, we will be referring to following goals. We will be reviewing the components of 20th century learning, developing and understanding of the 21st century learning skills, recognizing assessment as a key component of instruction in the 21st century, developing an understanding of available resources. We all have observed the drastic change which have taken place in last 2 to 3 decades, like the method of teaching and interacting with students, and we have seen the development and advancement of technologies which has enhanced today's education process. Let us think, how has our world changed? Let us have the glance over some activities which have developed with the passage of time. We will be discussing this in 2 categories, that are activities our school time and activities in today's life. Firstly, we will dealing with communication. In our time, the main source of communication were either letter, oral, or telephone. Now, our today's life, now we have different types of technology which has the smartphone, which has reduced the time on fraction of seconds. We can talk to people and see the through video call. Letters are replaced by different. Secondly, we discuss about careers. In our school years, In our times, we were prone to government sector job, which have security. Now there is vast option like IT, MNCs, private sector, and people like to explore their talent to like art, singing, dancing, etc. And next, method of purchase. In our time, we had water system and the transaction used to be physically, but now they are method of online transaction, cards and physically too. Now education. In our time, the main focus was only on bookish knowledge and studies, but today's we want to give our children, students, not only bookish knowledge, but to have overall development with value-based education. As you can see, that time the sources of entertainment was CDs, DVDs, tape recorder, and many more. Now we can see the main source of our entertainment is our smartphone. Generally, we have this prospection. Generally, we have this perception that learners are the same as they have always been. The same methods that worked for me when I was a student will work for my student now, but today's learners are different. But today's learners are different. They think and process information fundamentally differently from their predecessors. Now, let us know about what were the main component of 20th century learning. We can see the framework for 20th century learning, which are core subject and assessment. In core subject, there are the main subjects like Hindi, English, maths, science, SST, and for assessment, the homework were regarding exercise in the book of the specified chapters. Now, let us learn about what are the 6 elements of the 21st century learning skills. The framework for the 21st century skills are: first, core subject; second is 21st century content; third one is the ICT literacy; 4 is learning skill; 5 life skills; 6 21st century assessment. Now let us discuss key element 1, core subject. It emphasizes the core subjects of reading, English, mathematics, science, foreign language, civics, government, economics, arts, history, and geography. It helps in expanding a student understanding in core subjects beyond minimal mastery. Key element 2, 21st century content. The golden points are global awareness, financial, economic and business awareness, civic literacy, health and wellness awareness. Key element 2, the relevant content which should be delivered in 21st century are vital, practical, emotional and social connections to skill and content, bringing the world into the classroom, taking students out into the world, creating opportunities for students to interact with each other and adults in authentic learning situations. Key element 3, ICT literacy, informational and communication technology, ability to use technology to support 21st century teaching and learning, ability to use technology to meet CSOs and state or national educational technology standards. Key element 4, learning skills, information and communication skills, information and media literacy, visual literacy, communication. Other than these, one must have the following skill too, like critical thinking, system thinking, problem solving, creating and innovating. Key element 5, life skills, interpersonal and self-directional skills, interpersonal and collaborative skills, self-direction, accountability and adaptability, social responsibility, ethical behavior. Key element 6, 21st century assessments, using high quality assessments that measure students' performance for the element of 21st century education. Now, let us have glance over how does a 20th century classroom compare or contrast with a 21st century classroom. Contrasting 20th and 21st century educational practices. 20वीं शताब्दी और 21वीं शताब्दी में एजुकेशन का जो प्रैक्टिस था, दोनों में क्या फर्क है? 20th century practice, first teacher's role. In view of teacher's role, impart only bookish knowledge in 20th century practices. But in case of 21st century practice, teachers roles believe in giving over all development of students. Students roles in 20th century practice were only constricted to books. सिर्फ वो किताब से जुड़े हुए रहते थे. But in case of 21st century, what is the role of students? They are more curious and have practical approach. In 20th century practice, instructional and oral technology tools, instructional and technology tools are generally oral. But in case of 21st century practice, instructional and technology tools are many apps and technology like Teachment and laptop and phone, etc. So, what conditions do we control that can be altered to improve student achievement? Here are issues related to student achievement which are derived from 4 areas. First of all, curriculum. Curriculum, that means what we teach. हम लोग क्या पढ़ाते हैं. Quality of instructions, how we teach, हम कैसे पढ़ाते हैं. Effectiveness of schools, where we teach, हम कहाँ पढ़ाते हैं. And characteristics of a student, who we teach, कौन हमको पढ़ाता है. ये 4 इशू हैं जो हम लोग 4 एरिया से हम लोग इसी को स्टूडेंट के अचीवमेंट से उपलब्धि के साथ जोड़ सकते हैं। For these things, what should be resources? What resources are available to assist districts and schools in the educating a student for the 21st century? The available websites are Learning Community Digital Resource, Teach 21 Frameworks, Teacher Blogs, and Wikis. Look around and remember, things are different now. We must adapt and change. Henry Ford said, if you think you can. Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or you think you cannot, you are right. Once again, Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or you think you cannot, you are right. We can make the difference for students. Remember, it's the time to bring changes in our education system and how we interact with students. The focus should not be only on bookish knowledge, but should go beyond it. Since in this competitive world where establishing oneself is challenging task, we need to care and think about 21st century guiding skills and overall development. This will bring changes and will be proved as an asset for everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, it's just half an hour. You have to take up to at least 6:55 or 45. Can you elaborate any topic which is included in the previous pages? So it will take some time more. Uma Shankar sir,
Sir.
please go in the previous some previous pages and elaborate some topics. So that will, I think you will take up some 15 to 20 minutes.
I think that I should ask some question from our colleague. What is how can we adapt? How do we adapt the teaching method in 21st century?
Sir, you can add some topics from on your own words so that the time will increase, because the question answer session is only for 10 minutes.
Okay. Previous page. Contrasting 20.
Uma sir,
Uh-huh.
if you go with the 6 elements of 21st century skills, this topic you can elaborate.
Six elements for the 21st century. Yeah. Six element. Once again, we are going to discuss two categories that are activities in our school time and activities in today's life. So communication, in case of communication, in our time, the main source of communication were either letter, oral, telephone, and telegram. There are so many communication means. But today's life, we are using different types of technology like a smartphone, WhatsApp, YouTube, email. All these are the communication means of communications. In case of career, in our school time, generally we only think about government job. But today's life, there are so many areas where we can get a job, like corporate sector, MNCs, private sectors, and also we can develop our job, like to explore there. We can also explore our talent to in another areas like singing, dancing, mimicry, acting, so many things. But that time in school is our school times. These areas are also available, but it is not vast view. Method of purchase. In our time, in our school time, if we want any object or any goods, we get goods for exchange of goods. जैसे कि हम लोग क्या करते थे कि पहले गांव में देखते होंगे कि लोग कोई भी वस्तु जिसको चाहिए तो वो क्या करते थे, उस वस्तु के बदले में दूसरा वस्तु देते थे. अगर मान लीजिए मुझे दुकान से कुछ चीज चाहिए तो हम लोग उसको धान गेहूं कुछ वहां दुकान में देते थे. मतलब वस्तु के बदले वस्तु, ये वस्तु विनिमय जिसको हम लोग कह सकते हैं. तो पहले भी मेथड ऑफ परचेज था. अभी जो है, बट नाउ दीज आर द we use online transaction, cards, and also we use the ATM. In case of education system, in our time, जब teaching only based on the bookish language, always जैसे कहा जाता था बच्चों को रटने के ऊपर ज्यादा ध्यान दिया जाता था. बट टुडेज वी वांट टू गिव आवर चिल्ड्रन स्टडीज only not only on bookish language, but to have overall development with value based education. और इसके अलावा हम लोग इस पर भी देखते हैं कि बच्चे हम लोग कोई टॉपिक देते हैं, उस टॉपिक के बारे में एक बच्चे क्या क्या सोच सकते हैं, किस डिफरेंट एरियाज में सोच सकते हैं, इस पर भी ध्यान दिया जाता है. पहले हम लोग स्कूल टाइम में ये चीजें नहीं थी, जनरली जो रटन विधि कहा जाता था उस पर हम लोग डिपेंड रहे। सिक्स एलिमेंट using 24 ये 6 एलिमेंट लाइफ स्किल्स, no ये नहीं है, 1 2 3 4 5 6 life skills. Now we will going to discuss six element of the 21st century. First six element in the 21st century learning skills. The first element is core subject. First is core subject. Core subject, that means the main subject. Math, science, SST, Hindi, English, and computer. These are the core subject in 21st century. Computer is not the core subject in our school time. Second, ICT literacy. ICT literacy, that means people have knowledge about people have knowledge, people have informational and communication technology, ability to use technology to support 21st century teaching and learning, ability to use technology to meet CISO's state or national educational technology standards. Learning skills. Third one is learning skills. Learning skills, that means those skills which depend upon information and communication, information and media literacy, visual literacy, and also communication. Third one is the life skills. It is the fifth element for the 21st century. And life skills, that means interpersonal and self-directional skills, interpersonal and collaborative skills, self-direction, accountability and adaptability, social responsibility, ethical behavior. सोशल सामाजिक दायित्व हमारा क्या है, और इथिकल बिहेवियर, हमारे जो पुराने समय की चीजें उसको लेकर हम अपने व्यवहार में किस तरह का सोच रखते हैं, ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। सेल्फ डायरेक्शन, अपने आप को कैसे हम नियंत्रित कर सकते हैं, ये सारे चीज, these are framework for the 21st century skills. And 21st century assessment, what should be the assessment in 21st century? In 21st century assessment, we have to using high quality assessment that measure student performance for the element of 21st century education. In 21st century content should be delivered in the relevant content which should be delivered in 21st century, that is the vital and practical. Second one is the emotional and social connection to skill and content. Third one is the bringing the world into the classroom, taking students out into the world. And next one is the creating opportunities for students to interact with each other and adults in authentic learning situations. Generally, we have this perception that learners are the same as they have always been. The same methods that work for me when I was a student will work for my student now. सामान्यतः हम लोग इस तरह का सोच बना लेते हैं कि जो सीखने वाला है वो बिल्कुल वैसा ही है, सेम एज दे हैव बीन, हम अभी भी वैसा ही है जैसा हम लोग थे, और उनके लिए भी वही मेथड यूज किया जाएगा जो मेथड हमारे समय में यूज किया जाता था। लेकिन आजकल ऐसा नहीं है। टुडेज लर्नर्स आर डिफरेंट। आजकल जो लर्नर है बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है। उनको उनके सोचने का जो ढर्रा है, दे थिंक एंड प्रोसेस इंफॉर्मेशन फंडामेंटली डिफरेंटली फ्रॉम देयर प्रेडिसेसर्स। जो पहले जो लोग सोचने का ढर्रा और आज के सोचने का ढर्रा में बहुत का अंतर है। सो जैसे हमारे सिखाने का जो तौर तरीका है वो आज के हिसाब से ढालना होगा। Now, issues related to a student achievement, which are derived from 4 areas. Issues related to a student achievement. स्टूडेंट के उपलब्धि से जुड़ा हुआ जो इश्यूज हैं, ये 4, जिनको हम इस 4 एरिया से डेरिवेट कर सकते हैं। फर्स्ट वन इज द करिकुलम। करिकुलम दैट मीन्स व्हाट वी टीच एंड व्हिच टाइप ऑफ सिलेबस वी हैव टू क्रिएट। इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट that curriculum according to their thinking ability. Second was the quality of instruction. That means how we teach. हम लोग उसको कैसे पढ़ाते। पहला तो करिकुलम था, उसको उसके सोचने के हिसाब से हम लोग को तैयार करना चाहिए। सेकंड वन इज द क्वालिटी ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन। हमारा इंस्ट्रक्शन का हम लोग कैसे उसका हाउ वी टीच, हम लोग कैसे पढ़ाते हैं। ये बहुत इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट आवर teaching technique which affect the thinking ability of the student. Effectiveness of schools, and it is very very important that where we teach, हम लोग कहाँ पढ़ाते हैं। There's it means infrastructure have the vital role in create the teaching atmosphere. And also characteristics of the student, that कि who we teach, हम लोग किसे पढ़ाते हैं। It is very important that it is important to know that the student which is sitting before us, how they belong to society level, किस सोसाइटी से वो बिलोंग करते हैं, और डिफरेंट एरियाज, अलग अलग समाज के अलग अलग हिस्से से आते हैं। उनका व्हाट आर द एजुकेशनल एटमॉस्फेयर ऑफ देयर होम, उसके घर में एजुकेशनल एटमॉस्फेयर कैसा है, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट रखता है। और डिफरेंट बिकॉज इन स्कूल दे आर द स्टूडेंट विच कम फ्रॉम द डिफरेंट एजुकेशनल एटमॉस्फेयर, और उस स्थिति में हम लोगों को ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है कि जो अलग अलग एटमॉस्फेयर में आते हैं उनके लिए किस तरह का मेथड वी हैव टू अडॉप्ट। Now, one thing, very known educationist Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right. Henry Ford एक शिक्षा शास्त्री हैं, उनका कहना था कि if you think you can, that means यदि आप ये सोचते हैं कि आप कर सकते हैं, और या यदि आप ये सोचते हैं कि आप नहीं कर सकते हैं, यू आर राइट। दोनों केस में आप सही हैं। सो we can make the difference for students. ये हमारी ड्यूटी है कि हम स्टूडेंट में क्या चेंजेस ला सकते हैं. Remember, so what condition do we control that can be altered to improve student achievement? What condition do we control that can be altered to improve student achievement? It's the time to bring changes in our education system and how we interact with a student. The focus should not be only on bookish knowledge, but should go beyond it, since in this competitive world where establishing oneself is challenging task, we need to care and think about 21st century guiding skills and overall development. This will bring changes and will be proved as an asset for everyone. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Participants, you have any questions, please ask to resource person. Otherwise, we will conclude the today's training program.
Uma sir, I want to know some apps for the online classes.
Teachment, we can use Teachment, Google Meet.
Okay, thank you, sir. Lovely session, sir.
Thank you.
Please conclude the session.
Already I have calculated.
No. Okay, thank you, sir. Deepak ji.
Thank you, sir. You are.
Tony ji, please conclude the training program, and thank you speech be delivered by you. Please continue.
Sir, okay. Uma sir told us about.
Soni ji, what are you asking?
To say that you are not audible, sir.
I'm audible. Soni ji, what are you asking?
She is not asking.
Audible?
She was just concluding the training session. She was just concluding.
I'm audible.
Yes,
you
sir.
are
Yes,
now
yes,
audible.
You are audible.
Okay. A very thank you, sir. Your session is well defined, and you are so quietly defined the all topic, and you defined also beautiful about this sensor. By this session, we know about the 21st century skill, which is 6 elements of 21st century skills. I want to say about this session that life is not about finding yourself. Life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Means this 21st century is about the creating, not a finding. So it is well defined session, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, Deepak sir.
Thank you, Soni ma'am. And participant, please mark your attendance through Google form and it will be shared on your WhatsApp group. And thank you for join the training program. And everyone, you can leave the session. Thank you.